So hello everyone. So we can start now. We have very exciting webinar today. So we have Kamilla Sultanova with us. So if you could please turn off your microphones.
Okay.
Okay. So sorry for the interruption. So Kamilla Sultanova, probably you've already seen her on being very active on social media. So she's a motivational speaker, I think, going around the world and spreading the word about youth empowerment, about all sorts of things, about gender equality, and also about Uzbekistan. And I think we're kind of very proud to have such a person who he's actually from Uzbekistan, right? So nowadays Kamilla is based in Finland, and she acts as a mentor, entrepreneur, and also what she says, cultural architect. So maybe she can expand on that a little bit, right? So she'll be talking about, mainly about youth empowerment and career counseling, and kind of what she learned from the education system and the partnership, working in partnership with the teachers in Finland, right?
Yes.
Okay, over to you.
Thank you, Nadira. Assalamu alaikum. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm really honored to be invited to this mentoring. Is a big part of what I do and promote to Finnish stakeholders, to Finnish government, policymakers, and companies. And the same, I always argue and advocate for more mentoring opportunities in Uzbekistan and anywhere I speak. So really welcome you warmly from Helsinki. It's a magic northern capital in Finland. And I wonder what you know about Finland so far and what would you like to know? So think about it for a few seconds. And I gave you a little bit, I brought a little surprise because of course, I will give you a little insight today on what is the experiences I have with teachers, not being a teacher. And my argument that teachers are drivers of innovation and should be is really based on because teachers empowered me. Also in Karshi, where I grew up in Kashkadarya, and I lived half of my life abroad. I left when I was 18 to Denmark. Before Denmark, I was 1 year exchange student in San Antonio, Texas. So 12 years in Denmark, studying, working, and 6 years I've been here, and I have family here in Finland, and that's why I live here now for 6 years. So before I want to go on to this and dive into some really sharing perspectives with you and asking also you what is missing in your careers and your work, everyday work, I want to invite my business partner, Natalia Gromova, who is actually fully focused on enabling people across the world in getting to know Finnish education with our mindset. So basically, she's creating a course online in Russian this summer, been really busy and exciting. So I want to invite Natalia, if you could join me and put your camera on, just to say a few words that you may be really relevant to all of you wherever you are in Uzbekistan.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yes, I greet you from another city, wonderful city of Finland, Tampere. It is the second biggest city after Helsinki, and also very beautiful. So I'm very happy to meet all of you today, and I think that we have a lot in common. I guess at least 2 languages, and also being fond of the pedagogical innovation and leadership in driving teachers and school educations towards the future. And I want to share a little bit of what I have been doing for that. during last time, basically very much influenced by the COVID situation. But this is the case when the COVID situation brought the very fruitful results. So I organized teacher education programs in Finland and sharing the Finnish education expertise all over the world. And during this spring, I decided that that would be a great idea to generalize the whole expertise which we has acquired during the recent years and to somehow form it into the digital way. And we created the online course on Finnish education. So we have been inviting teachers to take part in this course during the whole summer. And it has been very, very in demand, very, very popular. So the course itself invites you to make a little journey to Finland and also to get the prospects of the Finnish education, Finnish culture, and taking it in the wider framework. So we have 10 lectures from the 4 Finnish experts. And these lectures, they are either given in Russian language or translated with the subtitles. So the course also, it gives you the overall picture of the Finnish education and methodology about the values and practices. And also it covers what has been happening in Finland during the recent decade, all these PISA winning news and top results in the international ratings, but also it gives the very good picture about what will be taking place in Finnish education in the next years. So it is a very fresh information. Also, we made it in a way that it is interesting, and we included there the some videos and photo sets from the Finnish schools. So it is a very illustrated course. So the course gives you the Finnish degree, also that could be of a great interest. And we offer this course also for the organizations, knowing that if you want to increase the corporate culture and if you want to make an impact, so that should be a systematic action, and the whole organization should be an intermediate for change. So we make an offer for the schools and universities, and it also is a very good demand. So I invite you to join our travel. This is, it is called the Autumn School, the virtual journey with the also some information about culture and the spirit of travel to Finland. And yes, if you have any further questions, feel welcome to ask. Now I will send the link to the course, and on the website of the course, you will find the contacts.
Perfect.
I'm very happy to meet you, and greetings from Finland. And thank you, Kamilla, for inviting.
Absolutely. Thank you, Natalia. And you've been speaking in many Uzbek webinars, and lately we arranged together for Islamic Academy of Uzbekistan, and you spoke to Surkhandarya city committee, right? That they invited you to speak about Finnish education.
Yes, I have been quite busy with giving presentations for the Uzbek teachers. Also, I have given 2 in June and 1 in May, and
Yes.
lots of degrees and diplomas after that. And
Right.
I want to say that every single time I attend the event for the Uzbek teachers, I feel a little bit warmer in Finland, truly, because because of the wonderful culture you share and the people's relations. So I'm very happy to meet you and to get in touch if it happens.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you for joining on short notice. Thanks, Natalia.
Thank you.
All right. So if you just share the link and we can continue. And now let me see if this works. Yes. So if I can ask you to actually now, I need your advice, insight and recommendation on career counseling in Uzbekistan. So AIR model, actually, it's an exercise that I give to young people, how to make meaningful contact to people about jobs, about studying, scholarships. And AIR is asking for advice, insight, recommendation from a person that they're wanting to reach. So now, my dear teachers audience, please tell me first, what would you advise to me if I'm looking for career counseling in Uzbekistan, in your city, in your area? Where would you recommend me to go? You can say out loud, or you can write in comments.
Kamilla, could you please elaborate a little bit on career counseling? Maybe people
So
don't know the
for my
concept,
job
right?
option, so career counseling is if I'm a student and I'm looking for different career options, so where would I really reach out to? Is it a university career center? Is it a teacher? Is it a parent? Is it your brother? Who do you ask for advice in your setting, in your local community, for any career and future possibilities? What should I do with my school years or my job? Yeah, so you can also say it in audio.
Yeah, you can unmute yourself if anyone wants.
Unmute yourself, yes.
Yeah, you can raise your hand or just unmute, and you can go ahead or type in the chat box.
Yeah, I can't see who is raising hand, so I hope you can.
I'll help you with that. Okay, can you see the chat? Zioda is saying from my colleague.
Okay, from a colleague, great. And
but
then
colleague, you mean peer? Okay.
Yeah,
peer.
And so we have peer recommendations for looking for a job or looking for a new university to join or college where to study. So who do you ask for advice on your careers, or who would you ask? Aziza, so the question is, I want your advice. If I am in Uzbekistan and I'm looking for sources of job search, choosing my career, where do I go? Do I go to my parents so they tell me what I should study or where I should look for a job? Or which sources who you go or where you go to find your future career options? And then
my points for this one.
I'm sorry?
Hello.
Yes, hi Zainab.
This is somehow, how can I say, optional question. For example, it would be easier for the person who is not married. For sure, they will try to discuss with their parents.
Yes.
But nowadays, I'm married and I have 2 kids, and I work at the university, Urgench State University. But I really want to do some challenges in my career, you know.
Right.
I have already topic for doing PhD, but it's somehow difficult to do it in here. And moreover, I just want to do some methods. I mean, to see the methodology in foreign country. That's why always I talk with my husband about it. And but nowadays it's somehow difficult to take my travel there. But anyway, I have really high desire to do and to continue my research in foreign country, because I'm learning the language. I want to do some research in this language, in English language, and then the atmosphere affects for 100%. That's why I just want to see and to feel, to do some methodology part of my research.
So you need access. Yeah, you need the access to person or website that you can get access to information where you can solve your challenges. Thank you, Zainab. And then the second part of the question, I can see that friends, groupmates are asking websites, great. Then the second part is insight. So who did you ask? So the insight is something that you have tried, right? So this is your lived experience. When you were choosing your career path, who did you ask, or what sources of information did you use to choose your education and your current job? So think back to your career choices when you were graduating from school and entering university, or you're graduating from university, transitioning into your first job. What were your sources?
Yeah, can I share? I think, yeah, when you kind of suggested this topic, I didn't kind of think that it is so deep and it is so urgent. I mean, yeah, in Uzbekistan, there is no system at all, right, for career counseling, and yeah, people rely on word of the mouth, on the network, personal networks, right? So the parents,
Right. Mostly parents, even in
most the
Finland.
parents, right? Uncles, aunts, right? So
Right.
things like that. That's really whereas it's kind of okay, but it really limits the opportunities, right? So
Exactly.
when I think back about how I chose my career, so I really didn't know what to do. And although I was a kind of student in school, like got excellent grades in most of the subjects, you know, and I knew that I would probably go into some humanities area. But I really didn't know. So then it was kind of a peer pressure, I would say, because my friend wanted to apply to the University of World Languages. So I said, okay, why not? So then I just did.
Okay.
But also, I think like the teachers play a great role in career counseling. So I remember like teachers were giving advice. Okay, you know, you are good in this and that, right? It would be good if you do that, right? And then when I was in the university as well, so when I was graduating, so my teachers, you know, encouraged, you know, oh, it would be nice if you kind of stay in the university and teach here, you know. So I think, yeah, like teachers, I think, play a great role in this as well.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I think my choices also were formed by peers because we just got that opportunity to, first of all, is just to go abroad and figuring out that you're capable to get a scholarship. It was like, if he did it, I can do it too, you know?
Yeah,
so
that's
in my
right.
in high school, it was super, you know, that chain reaction to possibilities and opportunities. But then my mom wanted to be a gynecologist of all professions. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't like looking at blood. I don't want to be a doctor. And so it was, I kind of chose my profession. I mean, education. I also studied at World Languages University, but I didn't finish it because I went to Denmark. But I like languages. I wanted to, you know, be in international environment. So that was kind of came by itself.
Right.
Yeah, so let's see what you guys wrote. So role models, great. Thank you, Aziza Dilrabo. I decided to become a teacher. I like this profession. How cool is that? Then you have choosing university. My mom influenced you. Okay. And then actually I wanted to be a doctor, but then I chose to be a teacher and I should don't regret it. Great. So, I mean, 3 professions in Finland is a doctor, engineer, and economist, right? So if you don't become these 3, what do you do, right? Of course, now the young people want to be a YouTube star, be a blogger, and, you know, to be famous today or yesterday. So, yeah. And, okay, do you have more? Mavlon Babakonov, Assalamu alaikum. I'm former journalist, but now I'm working as a teacher, associate professor. That's really remarkable and very honorable profession and the best profession in Finland so far since historical ties. Thank you. And then recommendation. So now, please, just real quick, what would you recommend right now to your students? Because this is your life right now in Corona or before Corona. How do you guide your students and say, okay, if your students are thinking what to do or you see potential in her or in him, where do you tell them to go to seek for information? Is there a special club? Is there a cafe? Is there a special person? Is it your graduate from your school that he or she knows? Or is it some co-working space? You know, it's becoming popular in Uzbekistan. Where do you send them to seek for access to interesting information and choices?
Can I ask for this one?
What the recommendation part
Yes.
is?
Yeah.
So
how I recommend for my students.
Yeah. So
first of all, for the girls, it's somehow difficult to recommend them because in our region, the students, when they are third year or fourth year, they will have already get married. But I recommend for boys, especially my male students, to apply for Fulbright, for example, Fulbright foreign students, or an FLTA program that is free for them, and they will because they have a very high interest in continuation of the study in foreign countries. That's why they try to look for mostly fully funded grants.
Yes.
That's why I prefer to give recommendation, and I share with them the leaflets. I shared with them some websites of those programs and contacts, and search in their websites. I just
Yeah.
try to then help, and also what is the possible ways to get more higher GPA from the basic courses, and etc.
Okay.
Just I try to give the best advice for them if they want to continue their career in foreign countries or foreign other places, not in
Yeah.
Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
But majority of them are really for continuation of their education field,
Mm-hmm.
and their outlook by doing some exchange programs, and by some other courses in
Yeah.
foreign countries.
Okay. Thank you so much. So there is different focus on guiding girls versus boys.
Yeah.
All
Because
right.
it's somehow difficult for girls, because they first ask from their parents. Their parents will say, no, I will not let you go to other countries, and then there is no urge for urging them do some creative
Mhm.
things. Anyway, they have a high talent in language. It's
Yeah.
a pity somehow. Yeah, it's a pity,
Yes.
because I have some students which IELTS even 8, but mm, by parental permission was not allowed. That's why it's
Yeah.
difficult to
So
just
the
give them advice.
okay. Thank you. Yes. Then Zioda says, go to the educational exhibitions. Yep, that's also what they do in Finland. So that's a very valid answer on this. As long as they are present in your hometown, because I think many things happen in Tashkent. So you have quite inequality, and it's similar in Finland. Everything happens in Helsinki, but it's such a long country. They also feel sometimes unfairly treated, that small cities, they don't get as many fairs. So there should be a representation of companies and student universities in different cities. Thank you so much. So we can go to my part and where I share experiences. So treat this in like my sharing experiences also as a way for you to ideate in your class, because what I will share is also what I shared with young people. So you can see my content that I speak with young people in 12, I spoke in 12 different countries. I train not only young people, but also companies, so they can be more inclusive. They can recruit people who are like you and I, who are immigrants or who are not natives of the country, in Finland especially. And that enables not only young people's honestly building trust to the future, to the real world, but also enables them to build their own potential, because they know when they graduate, somebody actually wants them. And there is some possibility for social mobility. So the Finnish education is a promise that whoever you are, whatever social economical background that you come from, everyone has an equal chance to get the lift and to live in a in a good job, get a well-paid job, and find education that fits right you with your interests. Yeah. So I will just share, this is a Finnish language, so don't need to translate this. This is a Finnish public channel which teaches, and it's a video resource for Finnish career counselors that work in secondary school and higher, like second, what do you call it, Lukia, gymnasium, so higher education, right? So they get study techniques. How can you read well? How can you study most effectively? How can you remember well? And so very nice videos here that enables young people to learn how to learn. And this is one of the things that Finnish career counselors use different toolkits to enable their students with the right mindset to make sure that in 8th grade and 9th grade, they have the best possibilities to really grasp the material and also start thinking about their future goals. So my experience comes from working with Finnish career counselors with the organization of people who you see here. So we are a bit silly, but this is a global dignity organization which is active in 80 countries, and I represent it in Finland, and it's youth empowerment NGO. Can you see my blue dot? So there is a Norwegian crown prince, and John Hope Bryan, he's American co-founder, and a Finnish philosopher, Pekka Himanen. They opened this organization in World Economic Forum. So all of these people are quite amazing from America to South Africa to India, Bangladesh to Mongolia. And I'm not a World Economic Forum leader, but it was really great to see that everyone gets an equal chance as long as you're so passionate about sharing these stories of dignity and really working with young people to understand that everyone has their potential. So this organization gave me a mandate, how can you teach young people when you're not the teacher? What do you do to enter a school and they take you seriously? So of course, an NGO with a global name has a good reputation, and I just moved to Finland when I decided to do it. And then what we did is we did 2-hour workshops in universities where let me just this is a 2-hour workshop with the university secondary schools. We bring role models who became somebody with overcoming challenges of deciding who you want to be, overcoming some problems with either discrimination, some maybe childhood trauma or something like that, that enables that story, 10-minute story of every speaker to inspire a variety of students. And so we did around 10 events in 3.5 years with 7 different secondary schools. And I used to go to like a school principals and ask, please, can we come and arrange an event in your school? We're all volunteers, and we will find some sponsors to give some small giveaways to students, but it's not a commercial event. And so we did 5-6 different speakers all the time. Everyone would come over and speak for free. And that's the beauty of it. And this here event says, arvokkuutta tulevaisuuteen. It's a Finnish word meaning that from dignity or with dignity towards your future. So kind of like, but it's in a nice way. You can see here people have different last names. They have different nationalities. They speak different languages. And this was to bring image of diverse, multicultural, multinational young youth in Finland, because in your view, you probably think Finland, of course, it's a rich country. It is. It's the best education in the world. It is, but it doesn't allow everyone an equal opportunity right now. So it's unequal. If you have a different name, your last name, your looks, you don't necessarily experience that equality that they guarantee you on a Finnish postcard. So you really have to have the opportunities, and you have to know a great network of people and to be in the right school. So this is why I do this, and it gave me a huge also mandate afterwards to share my experience that it is easy to cooperate and help schools change, because even in Europe, many schools today is a lie. It's a lie because they don't give you the promise of that you have a possibility to become somebody. And across Europe, also in Finland, there's different labs. So lab is a laboratory where they offer short-term courses with certificates. And sometimes those are much more effective than universities or vocational academies to get your job. So I think also in Uzbekistan today, you have a lot of courses of coding, because coding is the thing that if you speak fluent technology language, you can become a programmer, coder, promote, and offer social media content. And that's a great way to look at how you create a future job, or how do you start your future is to also know the technology language. So I just go back here is here my experience comes from business, nonprofit, and working with public sector. And this is where I work today as a cultural architect, where I bring all three together to promote different projects with schools, with companies, and enabling inclusion from the public sector to make sure that not every one organization can solve these challenges, because this is social challenges, yeah? So when I ask you today, where do you send your students to find opportunities, right? It can be responsibility of only public sector. In Finland, every municipality has a budget to give to each school to have different events, yeah? Or to buy equipment to teach them career counseling skills. Or then you have nonprofit NGO like Global Dignity, what I do, we can come and inspire them, but we cannot solve their problems for free because we're doing this nonprofit. Then you have the business companies. So business sector, we know that every one of us needs a good job. Our integration into society happens with a job where you can get small income and you become integrated part of the society, part of the company. And we know business has some money to invest locally, and they also want who? They want the best people. They want the best talent to work for them. So what I do here in Helsinki is to engage business companies to give them their business as a platform for young people to come and have an internship, platform for students to have a mentor. So to like ustaşşagirtino in Uzbek, that they can really work together and exchange ideas, what you could do with your future life. And also to make sure that whenever business is involved and they give their money or their logo or their commitment, they will follow up on this cooperation. So that's how I do as cultural architect. I create different cooperations, and it's not easy because it's experimentation all the time. And but I still bring this diversity inclusion to make it personal, tangible, and profitable. That's why I really like this idea of experimentation. And that's right now in Corona, it's the best time to experiment with your careers and choices. So these are students from 8th grade in Helsinki city. I brought them to high-level innovation conference. So European conference was held in December last year. And I said to organizers, I said, so what are you discussing? They say, we're discussing how can we be more innovative? You know, this innovation word, they like take a hammer and they put it to your head, be innovative, be innovative. And it's like, what do you mean by that? So I said, you don't have young people and you don't have people with different backgrounds in the room. It's only lawmakers, yeah? Only people from ministries, only people from public sector. And I said, where are the people who want to use mobile phones, who want to have more books to access innovation, right? So I said, bring these students. And these students, they became future leaders panel, future generation panel. And the students were speaking perfect English because they were in a, I mean, even though they're Finnish, there are also some international students, as you can see. They asked very challenging questions to the panel debate, and the panel, they were open mouth. They were like, I can't believe this is 7th, 8th graders, and they're really challenging us. So where are our voices? Where are young voices in this decision making in Europe? So this was the also example how you can take your students to different conferences by showing that your students, they are capable, right? And this is allows them to be seen on the screen or on the stage, and making them feel also important. And the teacher here on my left, she said, please ask us again. It was one of the best experiences to be here, and the students were really want to engage again. So, and that connection to Global Dignity, my volunteer experience now offers me ways to engage people in my community in my work, which I get paid for. And that's also a way for me to show legitimacy and in walking the talk. Now that I have a position of power and influence, I want to bring people to the arenas that hopefully they will also break their glass ceiling, that there is space for everyone. Yeah. So you will leave it or not, also after working with teachers, I said, why can I not work in Uzbekistan? So I offered a possibility for a Finnish university to come and get to know Finnish Uzbek market and offer their solutions to help Uzbek teachers to become innovators, right? And how they can offer training courses specifically for teachers. And so here you see it's in a public Ministry of Education last year. We had ambassadors and school visiting. And of course, things like this take time. But just last week, I saw that this university is doing a double degree program with Tashkent Stomatology Institute. So slowly but surely, there are some Finnish Uzbekistan bridges. And when I share with you Natalia's contacts, I really hope that you can be an innovator and bring also Finnish education to your classroom, or start something that enables, because we don't have many Finnish Uzbek contacts at this moment. So yeah, this is discussion in South Korea, Uzbek students telling them about why it's important to not run away from who you are, knowing your identity and knowing your dignity and power of storytelling. So when I speak with young people, it's interesting that they don't understand what is storytelling and how can they find their own voice. And I know that from our cultures, we are living in a collective society, and we're supposed to be shy, especially girls. And we need to recognize that every one of us is a personality, and we all have a voice. And once we find out, we can use it and become creators of opportunities, creators of great experiences. And I said Uzbeks are the best to build relationships and promote diversity management, because we are so intercultural, we're so international. And I just think that we are missing that ambition and awareness of who are we and what makes us Uzbek people really good at sales. Sales is in our DNA. We're from Silk Road. I even wrote it in my CV that I worked for 7 years in sales. And I said, well, I'm good at selling because I come from the Silk Road area. And it kind of gives me a way to also promote the region and just something that allows your culture to find your superpowers. So experimentation, I spoke about this a few times. So believe it or not, the Finnish education shows that even in a small country, 5.5 million people, and 60 to 70,000 young people right now, they are not in training, not in inclusion, in education or some kind of job. And it shows that when Finnish education is good, it fits only for the right group of students, which are everyone on the same level. And it's much difficult for students with different cultural backgrounds to pick up on that same level and be fast, even though Finnish education actually enables people to really have an individual plan and teaching for where they are. And so here you see two groups of people on the picture. One group is my experimentation project with 6 universities, which I work right now, and 3 cities from Helsinki region, municipalities, Hakimiat. And we are making different experimentation to make sure that students get a job in the companies, or at least internship, or like a small job experience, 2-3 months. And so we do these experiments to show how we need to fill the gap of supply and demand, and that to understand the companies cannot expect fresh made or like 100 years experience people. They need to shape their talents. And so these projects is 2 years old length. And on the right side, you see pictures. Here I'm with 5 people. We did a youth inequality experiment last year. Based on our experiences in Global Dignity, we put it to make videos of young people, how they are finding their career path in Finland. So the problem with Finnish career counseling is that, unfortunately, if you are from some specific country or ethnic diversity background, they kind of tell you to take lower jobs rather than university jobs or like university education. So it's outrageous it makes me angry because I don't want to be told that I need to get married or I need to become a social worker when I want to be a president, if I want to, right? We have a country who is one of the first one to get women voting rights with a woman president, first woman president, 12 years. Tarja Halonen was the president here. We have a woman who was a minister of defense, Elizabeth Rehn. And I know all these fantastic women. And then they ethnically profile career choices for boys and girls with different ethnic groups. So you understand why I'm working with this on two markets. In Uzbekistan, I say, okay, girls can do more. They can be married and study. In here, we with different colors or different cultural backgrounds or religious backgrounds, we are also capable in the job market. So because I cannot see this injustice, and I'm still hopeful and optimistic that we are all equal. And we still have to be constructive and make hope constructive and make diversity productive. So productive that now we don't say somebody's better than others. It's real, like, has to be equal and fair. So you can see, if you follow my social media, I try to spread the same message of career counseling because, again, right now we badly need jobs. In a small city here outside Helsinki is called Espoo. The unemployment of young people, from last year to this year, it jumped to 164%. 164% of young people from 1 year. So it shows that there is lack of jobs in many places, even in Finland, and young people suffer mental health. So mental health is another question, which is not a choice of career counselors. In school, so if we take a secondary school, there is a psychologist and a career counselor. You need to become first a teacher with a master degree. And after that, you take a 1-year course or 2-year course, depending on how fast you take it, to become a career counselor. Education from a full-time to be a professional career counselor, you study in 2 universities in Finland. And it's quite a needed profession because a lot of young people cannot make a choice sometimes how to choose the profession. So give you example. So in Uzbekistan, if you have one opportunity, which you sometimes do if you learn English or you learn German or you learn some languages, that gives you opportunity to go abroad, yeah? People will really hold on to it like this, one opportunity. Then in Finland, you can have 10,000 opportunities. You can become anything and they cannot choose. So too much choice is not good enough. And you need to find those sources of information that you can share or people that you can go to really follow, make easier decisions, or go to several events to make choices, say, okay, do I want to study right now for a college degree? Or do I want to go to university? Or then I want to take a 1-year break and then continue, right? So there's different ways to like build up yourself here. Let me see. And yeah, I forgot to say that if you have a question, you just ask, just stop me here so that we don't go until the end before you want to ask. So please ask me any questions now. We'll take a break. If whatever makes sense or you have some thought that's on your mind. Okay, or should I continue? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. I think that it's going great. So I really kind of you're raising lots of questions that kind of thought provoking, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there are things that we kind of try to avoid, right? But also the problem is there, right? So yeah.
Right. But you need to name it in order to kind of notice it and recognize it.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So the first step to dealing with the problems is recognizing that it is a problem, right?
Yeah.
Because like the auditor, the first thing that she mentioned, like, oh, for if it is a girl, it's different, right? So that's already, it's kind of it is a problem, right? Why
Yes.
it should be different for girls and why it should be for boys, right? So
yeah, so very gendered choices and gender divided job market or even education
right.
market.
Mm-hmm.
But In Nordics, it's also full of paradoxes. Finland is the happiest country in the world. It's a highly innovative country, best country to be a woman, a mother, but it's a very gender divided job market. So we still lacking girls in IT. We still lacking girls in STEM, lacking girls in science, and I mean all these subjects. So you are welcome to send your daughters here, your students here, because it's very safe country. They get their experience here and they go back to Uzbekistan and become amazing specialists. So lots of scholarships, PhD, my goodness, we have 3 Uzbek PhD students here. Really amazing. And so there is really great chances for all of you. And it's not so far from Finland. I mean, from Russia. It's in Uzbekistan. It's much closer than in America or Canada.
Well, it might be a bit.
Miss Kamilla, can you share some links, sites, websites to the program for PhD program? I will try.
I will share with you in just a bit later some links.
Okay.
So, but the major one is studyinfinland.fi. So, and anyone who can reach out, I have always a package because a lot of people reach out to me who I don't know on Telegram. So I have like a package of links that you can go to and, follow in Russian, все про Финляндию, учеба по Финляндии. So it's like really interesting to see where you can take your classes or exams. So yeah. So
yeah, that would be great. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to share. It's a lot, and I want more of you here. Then it's going to be more fun. We get more Navruz parties, Sumalak, everything. So we need more cultural representation here. So yeah, this containers that you see, this is how I started my job in Denmark. My first job after I studied corporate communication. I studied marketing in bachelor. I studied multimedia in the professional college. So it was really like long ladder for me to study. But so I did 6 years, and I couldn't get a job in communication because I don't speak Danish as a mother tongue, and huge competition and financial crisis. It was in 2008. So I started to look for jobs where I could use my language, Russian. I speak Russian as my mother tongue. So the first job I got was trading secondhand containers. Imagine, used containers. It was like so crazy job. I was like, seriously? I studied 6 years to do this? Selling containers to Dядя Vася in St. Petersburg, or, like some trader in Rotterdam or in Germany, So I felt a bit like, okay, but it paid my bills. I was very happy I could make my own money. I made my money cleaning offices, restaurants, cafes when I was a student. So I was in all kinds of jobs, and I'm proud to make myself economically independent. And that really made my voice stronger, by the way. So, but still, after you recognize your chances are so limited in the job market due to discrimination, lack of networks, lack of, understanding how the job market works, this was the best job because I got to understand global trade, global complexity, how you build relationships, how do you deliver value, what is customer service, how do you build a nice CV, how to keep like really consistency in your business, because relationships today is everything. And who is better than building relationships than Uzbeks? I'm sorry, we are, right? Nobody. I mean, we can, and we're capable. And I have really gotten all these experiences that I use today at my job and building trainings and showing real value to Finnish companies. So in 3 years, we made $24 million in revenue. Imagine, it was like so much money we made for a company by selling in 28 countries. I was in Poland, in Dubai, in Qatar, in Denmark, in Russia. I didn't go to Ukraine, but I was the only woman on the terminal. It was crazy, like how to face yourself. And I come from Karshi. There's no sea there. There's not even a river. Okay, Kashkadarya is there. So it was, like taking care of the captains, taking care of the terminals, operations, like huge, it's a lot of money to keep a ship running. So I'm very grateful for the experience and for people who believed in me and hired me. So I think that kind of experience we don't learn in schools. So what I'm telling you with this experience, what do you tell your students in career counseling? That not every company that they see on TV is the only companies to work for. if it's a big Carlsberg company, Danish company, it's a Lego, you know, those big company, Eco Shoes, okay, global Eco Shoes. All these global companies are not the only employers, and start small company is much better to start in a small company because you get so much more responsibility, much more influence, much faster decision making. And so that came to me afterwards, right? And I wish that was told me in my school, in technical school, in bachelor degree. No, they just brainwash you to work for corporates, and not many corporate, which is huge companies, are out there because the technology is changing. You have little companies making lots of money. So to make yourself relevant to the job market, you need to start somewhere. So how to be confident, but also humble. That is the good recipe to be yourself. You know, when you're looking for your next destination in your job, or even just in universities, keeping options open. So yeah, that's I share a lot. And so when you think of your environment right now, so these are global dignity events, right? So you see that we have people with disabilities representing, people different cultures, with different age groups, and very motivational. It gives a lot of representation of young people who they want to become or who they feel they relate to. And so think in your environment, Urgenç, Tashkent, I don't know, Karshi, Shahrizabs, wherever you are, wherever you are. Which of the people or organizations that you could tap into, invite to your class, and make them form the choices of young people, open their horizons, offer possibilities, just sharing their story, 10-minute person each, not a long time. This really makes a difference on some specific, you know, once in a quarter or twice a year. So they keep hearing these different stories. And that is already much more motivation from a person who they will look up to, rather than just hearing from mom and dad, which my mom would make me a doctor. Would I be happy as a doctor? Probably not. So don't limit their choices to their parents or marriages. Maybe there can be marriage and a degree or an education.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was really, yeah, that's a great advice, I think. Yeah, inviting people, right? And yeah, don't be shy to reach out to them. They will be happy to come and talk to your students, right? So yeah, if you invite me, I'll be happy to come. So yeah, so I think it is really great. Yeah, so for example, Kamilla and I, we're also women, right? But we didn't make it happen, right? So we studied abroad, and when I did my master's degree in the UK, I went with my husband. I was already married, so it is possible. So yeah, don't put kind of limits, right? Saying so go.
And also what I learned is that you can cooperate with volunteers in your area. There is a lot of volunteering that brought so much attention in Corona, how many different volunteer organizations help their mahallas, help their elderly, help young people, help people in need, and they will be happy to help you and arrange your event. And this really makes so much change for the person in your school area, if he or she is given this possibility, provided he or she is interested, right? That they can, that you allow them your arena, your audience. And so it's the repeated successes, experiences of success allows students to gain more confidence, right? And this is how I build my confidence, because I wasn't sure was I good for, you know, my father didn't allow me to play tennis. He took me away from a summer camp because suddenly I had to help sweep the floor and help my mom. So I was not having hobbies as a normal kid would have hobbies and find out what you're good at. So it took me time to find myself here, and volunteering took me really many places. I did so many events and I met so many people, and suddenly I'm here and talking to you and sharing these humble experiences. So think of volunteers. I can connect you to all volunteer organizations and start talking to them. It's really easy to reach out. Telegram, thank God, Telegram is really making our world much more approachable, and helping, also engaging your students in your class. I think everyone knows what is TikTok or knows what is Instagram. everyone can make an Instagram account of their class or their school and start branding it and invite best people in your city to become speakers and bring them over and see how can you make sure that city people, citizens who care for your young people, how can they motivate them to become the best version of themselves, to find their footing in Urgench, to don't everyone have to go to Tashkent, you know what I mean? How they can make your community fall in love with your own place. So I'm now found this school in Chirakchi. It's in Kashkadarya. It's a school number 15. How did I find them? Why do I fall in love with them? Because they're on Instagram.
Wow.
They have music like Karnai Surnai challenge on Instagram, and I love them. And they are in Chirakchi, this Chiar, this really place famous with Yahmed Bush, you know. I'm like, I can't wait to go there, and I'm ready to pay myself to perform. You know, it's that way that you need to understand that a lot of people are abroad and they miss everything from home. So brand your class, brand your school or your university, and they will be happy to come over to you. The only thing you say is that, hey, we are here right now, come and help us, and the help will come, I promise you. Yes, so yeah, this is some other ways. I dance Uzbek dances when I host events. They know what Lazgi is. I mean, I had spoken to Finnish Principal Association, and they're very cooperative. So that I think you have Nadira once using dancing in class.
Yes,
right?
yes, we had Rohata Baltaeva, yeah, who used
Amazing.
kind of dance in teaching English, or like, yeah, that was really amazing webinar.
Yeah, because it's using embodiment techniques to find your senses through using your physical body, and it's really, really making wonders. And it's promoted by Helsinki City. They put a lot of money in dance classes because it's so much research shows that dancing is good to use your brain. You are coordinating, you have better neural connections.
Yeah, and oxygen goes into your brain.
Yeah, so you are mobile more, and you don't sit for 9 hours in your screen.
Right.
And it's a way to be together in a much fun way rather than just running or just
And especially, like, I mean, Uzbek culture is so rich in these genres of dances, right? Unlike other cultures, like, you know, I guess there are not many kind of dance heritage in Finland, right? Compared to Uzbek, right?
Yes, we can compete with Bollywood, and I mean,
yeah. That's
you
true,
have to really use Lazgi much more, make them fall off in Lazgi and teach. So yeah, these are some other pictures of projects that I do. I'm also mentoring women in tech voice competition. So like, how can they be the best on stage and present their story? So storytelling events is one of really strong ones to give your students a voice. And what I tell here is a lot. This is the content part. I tell a lot to young people is the social capital. So how do you share a story and get to network with people, right? So social capital is something that Tanish Bilish in Uzbek, but it's not just that. It's also trust in others. Trust in others, reciprocity. It's capitalizing in a good way by helping each other and supporting your network and your community. And it's not financial capital, it's not human capital, but it's who you know. So you're coupling network to knowledge. And this is something that's more important right now, to teach young people how to communicate, because we are so behind the screens again and again. We forget how to build relationships, and it's scary. How many young people today write to me and say, Assalamu alaikum on Telegram, and then it's just quiet?
Oh, I know, that's my pet peeve.
Like, cut the crap, excuse my friend.
I know.
Tell me what you want. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
I saw you somewhere. I heard your speech. Could you help me with this advice?
Right.
Be on point, right?
I know.
So this is how I started this question today. It's like air model. Give them the air model. Ask for advice, inside recommendation. People are happy to share, right? To get the conversation going. Otherwise,
I'm so happy that you mentioned. Yeah, and not only the students, I mean teachers as well. So they write like, say, Assalamu alaikum. I don't have time to kind of, answer each person, right, saying how I'm doing, right? But I would be happy like to answer their question or, give advice if it is something, right, tangible, right? So just Yeah, exactly. Teaching them to communicate on social media, right? So that's also great skill, right?
Yeah. So don't be shy to like in your communication style. Being polite is good, but our politeness is wasting somebody's time. I'm sorry. Business culture here is very to the point. They like you to ask straight, so they will be able to help straight. Instead, this "How are you?" Yashimisis, Bismillah, this long intro doesn't help anyone. So to ask for advice, inside recommendation is the best thing you can teach your students, and also use that technique yourself. I teach that also to different target groups here. So why social capital matters? Because communities is also really important right now locally. We cannot travel, we cannot go abroad, our not maybe the same opportunities as before Corona. So try to make and shape environment as your community so that you get the best of your experiences there, to have an access to the best opportunities, best events, to be seen by the right people, to be in the right corridors, you know what I mean? So that way is, I did a webcast during the summer and teaching your students to not give up on themselves or their idea when they're trying to get into different corridors, like in your city or inside, like how to get yourself as a volunteer, you know, even if you're not paid. So now volunteering, everything that volunteering is unpaid labor, right? But it is still building character, is now being taken to business world, and it's becoming really popular. How do you build a collective, jamoa in Uzbek, jamoa, that everyone wants to contribute, they feel psychologically safe, nobody's gonna tell them if you made a mistake, that they're egalitarian and they can really contribute with the ideas, and there's no bad idea. This is how business cultures right now attracting the best people here. There's so many young Uzbek boys and girls working for these companies already. I was like, wow, brain powers, and I'm inspired. So this is how we can create it. So yeah, there's different opportunities. I also started in Uzbekistan, and I hope that this is also bring social capital awareness and bring more role models to Uzbekistan. And actually this platform, it's on our webinars on YouTube. You can Google this, Uzbekistan Kuzibalan. We want to recognize your choices, your career choices, your education choices is yours, and that every girl has the right to decide her own future. And also a boy, because we have so much of age discrimination and lacking choices of your own within a community. So that's a social capital background that I use a lot in promoting diversity inclusion, to have enable career choices for people who want to go to university or doesn't want to go to university. They need to feel all of these elements to find that motivation to apply, to do the first step, to write an application, to really ask for people. People afraid to make phone call today. It's scary. Like, my sister made a phone call for her son. I'm like, seriously, you need to do it yourself, right? But will he be taken seriously? That's a question, right? Do we respect children, or do we respect only professionals? How do we treat potential leaders? How do we treat them, those who are below 20? They are also, worthy of respect. That's how I feel like Finnish teachers gave me a possibility to arrange an event and build that motivation. So now I feel like, hey, if teachers are okay with me, I'm okay with anyone. Because they are rock stars, these Finnish teachers, So that, but we already talked about this. So what do you do for career counseling? I guess it's a new subject. We have few in Uzbekistan. We have new schools like in Tashkent. I think they teach professional orientation. There are a few locations for career counseling. So think about co-working places. A lot of co-working places offer discussions. They offer hackathons. Hackathons is these IT-based corporations in teams. Let them not be scared to just join in anything that happens in a place called co-working. It's all bringing ideas to life. And what do you need? So maybe that question I will ask you right now and say, what do you think you need right now, basis of what I told you, of what could be the Finnish model that you could take into your school? And okay, do you need internet or do you need contacts? What do you think you need to inspire your students to be the future leaders? Open question, no right and wrong.
Anyone would like to answer?
Yeah.
What are your takeaways? What do you think you can do?
Yeah.
As I think Kamilla mentioned, you can do a lot, right? In fact, right? So yeah, of course, they should be kind of top-down changes, right? So like organizing this counseling, career centers, making sure there is a career counselor in each school, for example, right?
Yes.
But you are the agents of change, right? As teachers or any individual, right? So
Yeah.
you can make changes in somebody's life and in your own life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I really like Kamilla is the example of that you can achieve anything in this life, right? If you kind of go to University of World Languages, it doesn't necessarily mean that you end up being a teacher, right? So it's great to be a teacher, but there is no one path, right? So
there's no one path.
Exactly. You can still be anything that you want, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop. Don't be afraid, right?
Yes, and a lot of these think tanks and World Economic Forum, they predict like 65% of the jobs don't exist yet in the future, and we may change our careers 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times, if not more.
Yes.
That we cannot think, okay, I'll be teacher for the rest of my life, or I will be speaker for the rest of my life, or I'll be an entrepreneur for the rest of my life. And luckily, we can really change so much, and it's okay because technology really goes fast, and you don't need to have a journalist. You have writing AI written journalist. You don't need so many doctors. You have AI based doctor advisory online. So there's a lot of technology that solves you challenges, but it creates different kinds of jobs. And so I think that knowing that there are so many opportunities and nobody's alone, I think that's the best way.
Exactly. Exactly. Just don't be stuck in one job, right? If you feel it's not your thing, right? So kind of don't be confined to the limits of that job. When you were saying about the job, so I remember Sheryl Sandberg's speech, and she always says when I was graduating university, Mark even wasn't born yet. So even Facebook didn't exist there, she's the CEO of Facebook, right? So she's saying how could I know that I'll be the CEO of Facebook, when even Mark Zuckerberg wasn't born yet, right?
That's right.
So there's so many opportunities.
Did you have so I can go on and see how you can make social capital visible for young people is so online and physical social capital. Oopsie. All right. So if we think of where are the possibilities for young people is you can again think of Telegram, Instagram, Facebook, all the friends, teachers, mahalla people, family, grandma, grandpa. They are the immediate social capital sources which allow you unconditional support, reciprocity, safety net, and source of information and advice. Also, I put local shops because sometimes those shop owners are really cool and they know everyone because they see everyone. So they could actually tell you who is the repetitor of English or chemistry or math. Or then you go to cafes because some cafes can also be connecting places. They are urban connecting places like libraries, right? I didn't put libraries here, sorry. But of course, libraries are open like a home away from home, right? And then bazaar. So bazaar is because where you meet people, these are your access. Those people that know you, they will be potentially recommending you to someone. You don't know in which circumstances, but everyone has a brand and everyone has a reputation. So this kind of contact base you should harness because today there is no bad contact. You don't know where you'll get help. So yes, and what and where else? I think in different cities in Uzbekistan we have different sources, and what now I would put Mentor Hub is your social capital source. For example, if I look at the screen today, I could get your names, I would find you on LinkedIn, and I'd send you an invitation. That's how you build connection and say, Zarina, Vinasha, I saw you on a webinar. I really want to ask you, where are your needs right now? Can I come and speak at your event? Right? So if I'm a speaker, so this is how I would build connections. And then I would love to go to Zainab and say, Zainab, can I come and read a lecture in university? And so this is the way to build contacts and show yourself curious. And curiosity kills the cat, they say, right? But here, curiosity is your surviving mechanism right now. So better be crazy than lazy, as I say, and always ask. That's the way to keep conversation going. So yes, and here just some figures that a lot of jobs are gotten through networks. You know it very well. 56% in American literature, 85% in Finland. So you see how limited the low social capital among different groups of people that doesn't allow the jobs to be spread. The low social the high social capital among groups of people will allow jobs to be spread equally and inclusively. So, and also we have mental health issues, and we need to recognize the stress that it can have on young people. Probably we don't talk about this yet in Uzbekistan, but I hear some people, and I heard some TED Talks about that we should think about our mental health and take it more seriously. Yes. So yeah, I could go on, but I just think that what's important to say that building our skills, building our resilience is really what we need to harness our very Uzbek national skill to build relationships. We haggle with each other in bazaars. We really build relationships to survive and to build trust. And it's leadership skills, and tell to everyone that everyone is a leader, at least a personal leader. It really lifts the person in their body, in their image. And it's possible. I know I left Karshi because I felt I didn't belong there, but I think right now, with any harsh circumstances, you can bloom where you're planted, meaning that you can still find something to be positive about, because not everyone has money just to take off, or scholarship just to go away, even if they want to. So the mind has an amazing opportunity, capacity, even if when trauma or stress, to really focus on the goal. And if you give the person the goal to say, okay, you need to learn the language, that what really saved me to think like, I wanted to get out of Uzbekistan. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to go abroad, even if like they wanted to get me married when I was 18. Didn't happen. I left though, So it's the power of desire that you can instill in your students, and they will thank you for it. And I'm thankful for my Armenian teacher, Anna Mikhailovna, who said to my mom, "У Камилы хороший английский." I was like, okay, fine, and that's when I started, going to her to study English. So yeah, I think we are becoming very polarized, and that's really worrying me in my own country, that we have so much empowerment discussion, but then there's this polarized idea that everyone is against women empowerment and women getting education. So we need to think how we can fight nationalism, sexism, misogyny, by shaping a sense of universal global identity, because we are not like, okay, I'm Uzbek, I live abroad half a life, so I have different identities today. So how can you give that understanding that nobody is born racist and everyone can shape their identity, even global identity in Uzbekistan? Because once we are on Telegram, you are a global citizen.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's so many opportunities than you had like 20 years ago, right? Yeah. So like now you don't even need to leave your house, right, to be famous, exactly. Right? Or to do some changes, right, in somebody's life, right?
Yeah.
I sometimes like, if you check this Dima Qayyum, right? So he's very popular in social media in Uzbekistan, right? So like, but he's just an ordinary some guy, right? He sells, I don't know, like I think handmade ovens. or heaters, I guess. But then like he opened his library, and then like people started from all over the world started kind of donating money and books, you know, so that he can fund this library, right? And he's so famous, right? So it's so great, right? And he doesn't have kind of higher education, like he didn't study abroad, right? So you don't need to do kind of all that, right? To be to do some positive changes in somebody's lives, right?
That's right. I heard his name. I haven't actually followed much of his stuff, but I heard his name coming up. So yeah, when we building relationship to the outer world, I think there needs to be at least one person who is not a parent, who is not within a family, but someone that can really be a trust, that unconditional support, and you really be the person who believes in the student. And for me, it wasn't in my family. It was in my in Denmark and in the States. There were some teachers who were mentors, and that made a difference because we grow up with a lot of shame and guilt and supposed to live up to some image. And someone who doesn't have to demand you these things can really look at your person as a whole, have ears to listen, and have mind to accept you as yourself. And if we do that, I think students will grow up knowing who they are a little bit, knowing that they are not alone, and they really have that rich light inside, because everyone who is born in Uzbekistan, they have that richest light. And I wish that everyone knew that. And we get, you see what Natalia said to you? She said every time she hears you, she would actually pay for it to be with us because we're so nice. This is not to take for granted, you know? So
exactly.
Because, we're so rich nation with so much generosity, empathy. We almost like over empathic of others, and not to ourselves, and not to our girls, not to our boys. So I really hope that this like ideas of that I give, it's gives to yourself first, because you're amazing people doing amazing job in a most difficult circumstances, paying for your own telegram maybe to teach the kids. And I really take my head off for your job. But also, once you recognize how important you are, you feel good with yourself, you share that positivity with students, even if there is not so much to be happy about. But then again, without this pre-limited choices, like, okay, are you only serving boys or serving girls? I would really like this, question your actions and say, am I being inclusive right now? Do you have students with limited physical abilities? How she invited in the process, right? So we have beautiful ideas. So I will send you this presentation. These are a lot of models that I teach the young students, and what it will give us and to companies and to societies and to teachers is culture of dignity, community, constant innovation, whatever you define it. And then there's well-being and health and wealth, because if we are not healthy, we cannot get wealthy. And we all want dignified jobs and so living in our societies. So I wonder if you have any questions right now.
I would like to share my points. It's not a question, actually.
Sure, please.
Thank you very much. You have a very motivative speech. Just coming back my dreams again, and then I just thinking about, okay, 5 or 6 years ago, what kind of dreams I had. Just your speech motivated me to remember them all of them, and I just try to find again an energy to go forward. And also it was very good sample for taking about your life experience and your hardships, and then how you overcame from those hardships in an even you are in a foreign countries. It's a real sample, just a great sample for some parents who are afraid of to give leadership for their daughters. But it's a pity that I would like also some parents should also see these webinars to participate in what is going on around the world and what the girls are doing, what our Uzbek girls are doing in abroad, in other countries as it's in their native country.
That's right.
Thank you very much. It was very, very good webinar. And then I would like to ask from Nadira Pa, thank you for you also, and again organize some topics with this Kamilla Sultanova. It was be very appreciative, and I also will share the link with others. I mean, to participate if you will organize, if you will refer. And also, it would be great when you share some address for the PhD program.
Yes,
I
I will
would
do that.
appreciate.
It's on my to-do list. Thank you so much. Rahmat.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rahmat. Bolin.
I will come to Urgench. I want to learn Lazgi.
Okay, I will teach you in Lazgi in this case, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. I think, yeah, I think I really liked what you said at the very last as well. So if you don't do all the things that you mentioned, yeah, there are so many tools and things that you can do, but at least you can encourage someone, right? As a teacher, right?
Yeah.
You can at least like some positive remark that you
Yeah.
say to your student, it may make the whole change for his or her life, right? As you said, like your teacher said, like you have a good English, so that kind of gave you wings to fly, right? So
Yeah.
you kind of said, okay, there is something that I can do, so I have to kind of pursue that, right? Furthermore, I think that's really important, right? Sometimes we don't value what impact we make on our students, right?
Yeah.
So even just with some careless remark, right? Or like even with our body language, right? With the way we look at them, right?
Yeah.
And also by our own example, right? So like that's also it's huge impact, right? Whether we are passionate about what we're doing, whether we feel happy about what we're doing, right?
Correct.
So like
Yeah.
if a teacher comes to the class being bored, right? So like then yeah, boring teachers like make bored students, right?
Right. Yeah. And I think there's many ways to motivate. I say, like, I mean, I read a lot of stuff. So how do you motivate entrepreneurs? How do you motivate people who are not making money in Corona? They say, just give them likes. Even if you don't know, just give likes and say positive comments. It makes so much difference online. So you can do it in orally on Telegram or on Facebook to support the people who are in business. You can't buy their service, but at least you can say, I really like what you're doing. And, you know, so positive remarks is never, it's for free. Kindness is free. Smiling is free. You can give likes for free, and still you get so much in give impact to the person who you sharing this kindness with, and this is really a necessity of the hour. So
yeah, that's a really, yeah, I think I can second every sentence that you say. Yeah, that's also another thing. Like, you know, sometimes like on social media, right? So like people read or watch something, right? But they don't like give it likes, or they don't subscribe, right? But it is also a way of saying thank you, right? It's also like giving back, right? Because if you do this, then this person will do more, right? Because if you don't do, then the person will say, okay, maybe it's not interesting, it's not kind of effective, so I'll just stop doing it, right? Yeah, so don't be kind of
don't be shy of comments and links and smileys and hearts.
Right.
That's, you know, before you can be like, oh, I don't want to give her a like or him a like.
Exactly.
He doesn't follow me enough. I don't.
I know.
No,
right?
forget this thing, because
exactly, right? I heard like another one, like in another channel, like somebody was saying, oh, you want to make money by streaming your videos on YouTube. Like, oh, come on, right? So like, how much money you would make, right? So like, but this is the way of saying thank you, right? So that you are kind of
no, we need much more conversations and social mindset change, like what is worthy to be paying for, what is worthy to do, and every job that you do with heart and you get so much visitors, you get so many viewers, you need to get paid, and that's why you can ask for donations. If you like what I do, help me donate some money if you decide to, you know, support what you do. And so it's a great thing to or give back skills, right? Like trading skills is really good. So yeah, you can take your students and think who is active in your class, who could build branding of your university, branding of your school, and train and attract international speakers to yourself, even Uzbeks abroad. I mean, they're gonna do great things. So these are some suggestions I have here, and really tap into everyone who you know around to help your students thrive. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna give you stars and say, hey, here's my case study. This student went to PhD. This student got married but still did a PhD. This student is now a creator, an innovator, you know, so kind of not necessarily that, you know, maybe it's not part of your job, but I think everyone wants their student to succeed, right? And that's why the profession is so noble across the world, but not so well paid, because there's a lot of women are in 69%, 68% in the world, women are teachers. Teachers are women. So we need to demand better payment and working conditions. But yeah, so a lot of, you need to speak technology to make it. And I think, like I said here, when you grow a universal sense of identity, your students are going to be unstoppable on yourself, and that you don't need to think, I only belong in my little mahalla, or I only belong in Uzbek. You know, all of borders are political. We are human. I went to 50 countries in the world. I connected with everyone in Jamaica, in Africa, in Zanzibar, in Italy. It's just so the world is ours. We just don't feel we shouldn't be limited by this kind of beliefs. These are things that really stop us from our success and our national economic development. We need to remove this uyat in our crazy way to really start succeeding and showing how we can live our best lives. So yeah. And these are my volunteers in Sochi, actually, in Russia. Really bright Uzbek young people.
Okay, great. Yeah, we have some, yeah, there are lots of people who said thank you for the motivational speech. And yeah, there are even quotes somebody wrote. Buyuk odamlar dunyoni yoritish uchun o'zlari yonib tugaydigan meteorlar Napoleon Bonaparte. Well, I would argue, because once you inspire someone, you get inspired more. You get even like more energy in return, I think, right? So
right.
I think it's not that kind of we are giving all the energy and then we don't have it, right? So now I think you get inspired by talking to other people, by motivating other people, right? So yeah.
That's right. So I will stop share, and I want to see some of you here. And yes, if you want to get in touch with me, I leave my website, and then there is a channel I would like you to follow. This Uzbekistan, the female voice, and I want to have you as our speakers. And I already told you, Nadira, that we will have you as a speaker. And the links I will share with you on how you can think of, you know, if you want to come here for studying or do PhD, it is possible. The idea with Uzbek diaspora working with Uzbek young people, it's not just with us, it's a global phenomenon that all the immigrants who live abroad, they get to the level of certain level of income and, you know, comfortable life. They want to give back. And so imagine so many millions of Uzbeks are living abroad. How many things we can do together if we don't shy asking, and don't shy to make your story of your school, of your class, of your subject, of your university, of yourself. You belong to this whole group of, you know, education, empowerment, enlightenment. So please be very open out there and bring your online presence and be noticed and be found.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we couldn't end in any better way, I think. Thank you so much for the final comments. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, hope to have other webinars and follow other talks by you. Thank you.
And maybe if you all can turn your camera, I'll take a selfie And
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk about this experience.
Yes, I just sent you the YouTube video that we were live streaming. So if you need to rewatch or you share with someone, yes, you
Sure.
can.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if
All right.
people are
Who is not shy?
comfortable with turning on their cameras, that would be
Yeah.
great. To
Oh, good to
say
see
hi.
you. Oh, beautiful
Yes.
dresses.
Yes, hi.
All right.
Yeah.
Так, я возьму вот так сюда.
Yeah.
Мгм.
Just
Oh, it's like
last few
like
people left.
политика, да?
Last few people left.
Great.
Yeah, but we have
Nice.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. And welcome to Finland. Hoş geldin. I really want you to visit in once in a lifetime and join the school and join this online course. And yeah, let's see what we can do together and bring all the voices forward.
Yes. Thank you so much. Stay tuned. Bye,
Rahmat.
guys.
Rahmat,
Bye.
take care.
Rahmat.
All the best for your academic year. Cheers. Bye-bye.